the satisfaction that I get from this scene is unbelievable. Let's just talk about how much of a Tamlin is. Oh, like I hate him. I just wanted Freya to punch his head in so bad. Ugh, it's intense. And my heart was literally like pounding. Hi, hello, it is Jodie, and today we have part 3 in this mini series, and this is going to be my reread of A Court of Wings and Ruin by Sarah J Maas. So this will be a reading vlog dedicated solely to this book. If you guys haven't seen my A Court of Thorns and Roses or my A Court of Mist and Fury vlogs, I'll have them linked down below. They are spoiler filled, so if you have not read this series or this book and you don't want to be spoiled, do not watch this video or those 2 videos, because I do talk about everything that goes on in the books. But yes, I am going to be reading this. I've probably already spoken about this in my ACOWAR vlog, and I will have mentioned this in another reading vlog that I was doing at the same time. But today is Sunday the 14th of February. It is Valentine's Day, so happy Valentine's Day to you. I managed to finish ACOWAR at 3:30 last night, and I'm very, very tired today, and I have 2 days left until A Court of Silver Flames comes out, so I need to get a move on. So I plan to try to read this book in 2 days. Can I? I don't know. But me and Sabine are hosting a live show reading sprints in like 20 minutes on her channel, so I will be starting this on the live show, and I'm so excited. I don't think I've ever reread this book. I've reread A Court of Thorns and Roses and A Court of Mist and Fury so many times, but for some reason I've just never reread this. I don't know why. So I'm very, very excited because it's been a long time since I read this book. I've forgotten a lot of stuff that happens in here, like a lot. I honestly don't remember much at all, so I'm so excited to go into this book again, like so unbelievably excited. So my plan today is to try to read halfway, so I want to get to page 343 today because I will be roughly halfway through. If I can do that, then I can hopefully read the second half tomorrow, so we'll see. It's Valentine's Day, so I don't know. But yes, this vlog is going to be all about my reread of Court of Wings and Ruin. It should be fun because I can't remember most of what goes on in here, so I'm so excited. Like, I can't wait. And obviously now Nesta and Elaine are both high fae. Freya is in the spring court, pretending she's in love with Tamlin, and that everything with Rhys was like her being like controlled and brainwashed and all that stuff. But little do they know, Freya is the High Lady of the Night Court, Rhys's mate, and she is playing them, and she is going to ruin their lives and ruin the King of Highland, and I'm so here for it. And we are on the brink of war, so a lot is going to go down in this book. So yes, that is how this book is starting. I'm so excited to see what happens. I'm going to start this on the live show, so I'll update you guys once I've read some of this. I'm so excited. So if you'd like to see my reactions and my thoughts to me rereading A Court of Wings and Ruin, then please keep watching. so I'm only on page 28, but a few things have already happened. So obviously Feyre's in the spring court and she's playing her part well. They have no idea. I mean, Lucian suspects her of it, but she's playing her part. So we've just been introduced to the King of Highburn's nephew and niece, who are twins, who are called Prince Dagden and Princess Branagh. I can't pronounce that properly, but yeah, those two have arrived and they are horrible, along with Jorian. And Feyre's just being a savage with Jorian. It's so funny. Jorian's like trying to get her to bite and like winding her up and stuff, and then the niece and nephew are like staring at Feyre and like proper like looking at her and stuff, and Tamlin's getting angry about it. And Jorian's like, they're just curious. It's not every century that the contested possession of a female launches a war, especially a female with such talents. And then Feyre snaps back, perhaps if you'd bother going to war over Miriam, she wouldn't have left you for Prince Draco. and then he says something like, careful what you say, girl. And she smiles and just walks straight past him. She goes, or what, you'll throw me in the cauldron? And it's just so funny. Like, I just love her. She just does not give a f, and it's just so funny. Like, yeah, I love her so much. They're all sitting at dinner and that prince and princess are there, and Jorian and Tamlin and Lucian are there, and Feyre senses that the prince and princess are trying to get into Lucian and Tamlin's head as well as hers, while Jorian distracts them with conversation. Basically, Feyre reaches out and like puts like a wall of darkness around Lucian and Tamlin's mind so they can't enter, and it says, I struck Dagden and Branagh jolted back in the seats as if I'd landed a physical blow, while their power slammed into a barrier of black adamant around Lucian and Tamlin's minds. What's wrong? Tamlin asks. Nothing, says Feyre. The Highnesses must be tired after such a long journey. And for good measure, I lunged for their own minds. Finding a wall of white bone, they flinched as I dragged black talons down their mental shields, going deep. I just love it. Like, Feyre is not holding back. Like, she knows her worth. She knows that she's a badass. And I'm just here for it. Like, I love it so much. Yeah, I'm only on page 28, so I'm not very far in at all. Still on the sprints with Sabine, so I'm gonna carry on reading, but I just wanted to update you guys on these things because they're just making me laugh. Like, Feyre is just such a bad, and I'm here for it. Okay, so I'm aware I look absolutely horrendous. We're gonna ignore that. But I haven't actually ended up starting ACOWAR, which is not great. So yeah, because yesterday was Valentine's Day, I kind of spent the whole day and evening with my boyfriend. And then today I've just not felt great and just haven't read or been in the mood to read. So it's now 8:30 and I am about to continue reading ACOWAR. I'm like 20 pages in or something. So I'm gonna run a bath, I'm gonna read some more of it, and I'm just gonna try and see how much I can read before tomorrow, because tomorrow Court of Silver Flames comes out, which I'm so excited for, and I will be vlogging a separate reading vlog and review for that. I'll be reading it as soon as I get it tomorrow, whether I finish ACOWAR or not. But I'm hoping to read as much of ACOWAR as I can before then, until the book actually arrives on my doorstep. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go and run a bubble bath, do some reading, and then I'm going to try and stay up as late as possible. I am very, very sleepy today, but I'm still going to try and stay up and read as much as I can. So I will probably update you guys later, but for now I'm going to go run a bubble bath. So I'm out the bath and I have some updates. So I am now on page 122. So we're up to the scene with Lucian's brothers and Feyre on the ice, which is one of my favourite scenes. Like, I just love it. It's so good. It's such a good like action fight scene, like amazing. But yes, I'm 122 pages in. It's currently 10:30 and I still have like 600 pages to read tonight, and I'm so tired. So I don't know if this is going to happen or not. I really don't know. I'm going to aim to get to maybe 500 if possible. Probably not possible. That's my goal, and then I'll finish the rest tomorrow morning. But I don't know, because I'm in a dilemma, because I want to sleep so that I'm not tired tomorrow, so I can read A Court of Silver Flames all day without falling asleep. But I also really want to finish this before I read it, so I don't know what to do. So I'm going to try and read as much of this as I can before I'm absolutely exhausted and have to go to sleep. But I have a few themes tabbed that I want to talk about. Feyre is just making me laugh so much. Like, she's literally so funny. Like, she's just constantly taking the mick out of everyone in the spring court while she's there. And like, I love the bit as well where like the prince and princess of Highburn are there, and Tamlin's like, you sent the bogue after them, and it's just so funny. Like, she just doesn't care. But yeah, and then of course Tamlin goes into a little bitch fit again and sends furniture flying everywhere that hits Feyre and injures her, but she let this happen on purpose. This just proves that he is a piece of shit. He does not change, and he is an awful fae. Like, I was gonna say human being, but he's an awful fae being. So yeah, we still hate Tamlin. Like, I can't stand him, but Feyre's playing such a good game, and it's just so funny, and she is so clever. Like, seeing all this play out, I just love it so much. And like the court thing, like basically like ruining his court, it's just amazing. So my camera died, which is great. We've just had Tamlin having his little fit, which literally just proves that he's still an awful person. Feyre's basically been stirring the pot in the court, but she's basically kind of outing people like who need to be outed. So like, we have Ian's, who we all absolutely despise. Like, she is an abuser and she is gross and just awful. Her and Tamlin deserve each other. But anyway, does exactly what Feyre wanted in trying to show them for who they really are, and now Tamlin's centuries are starting to turn against him. So yeah, I just love that. I just love that. It was so well played, like so well played. And then we also have the scene where Ian seeks out Lucien in the forest as Feyre's like, we're knowing to leave, and Ian has like Lucien like tied to a tree and stuff, and she's got like those cuffs on that stop him using his magic, and she's basically gonna just like take what she wants from him. And Feyre comes and she's like, you ain't doing that, and she makes Ian smash her hand to pieces. And the satisfaction that I get from this scene is unbelievable. It is amazing. But then it gets better, because then we have an amazing action fight scene between Feyre, Lucien and the prince and princess of Highburn, and they've basically just revealed that they've been poisoning their food with Faebane. So Feyre's powers are slowly depleting, and her and Lucien basically have to like fight them to live and escape. So they manage to fight against them, and they kill both the prince and princess of Highburn, which is just amazing, and it was just so cool. And then they leave, and they then have to travel to like the autumn court, where they bump into Lucien's brothers, which we all know how that's gonna go. So that happens, and then we have the amazing scene on the ice where Feyre and Lucien are battling Lucien's brothers after they previously battled them and brought the cave down on them with fire together, which I loved. Like, I love that moment of them working together, and Feyre like using the same powers as Lucien. It's just so cool. But they're on the ice and she's going down, and then Feyre's like just had like her like limbs bound with flame, and they're kind of on the losing side at the moment because it's 3 versus 1, and Feyre and Lucien's magic hasn't fully returned yet either, so they're very weak and they're losing. And Feyre's like face down on the ice, and then the next minute she says, a shadow slammed into the earth before us, cracking the ice toward every horizon. Not a shadow, an Illyrian warrior. 7 red siphons glinted over his scaled black armor as Cassian tucked in his wings and snarled at Eris with 5 centuries worth of rage. Oh, I loved it, because not only do we see Cassian now healed and back together, but now him and Feyre reunited, and he is just gonna open a can of worms on them, and it's just, oh, I love it so much. Feyre says, I loosed a shuddering sob over the burning gag. Cassian's siphons flickered in response as if the sight of me at Eris's hand. Another impact struck the ice behind us. Shadow skittered in its wake. Azriel. I began crying in earnest. Some leash I kept on myself snapping free as my friends landed. And then Cassian says with lethal calm, I suggest you drop my lady. Eris's grip on my hair and me tightened, wringing a whimper from me. The wrath that twisted in Cassian's face was world ending. But his hazel eyes slid to mine, a silent command. Oh, I love this scene so much. It's just so cool. So yeah, all that stuff's happened, and then Feyre and Lucien as well and Cassian all go back to the Night Court, and they team up with Rhysand and more. And now Rhysand and Feyre are back together, and like Rhysand saying to like how scared he was because the bond, like he just couldn't find where she was, he couldn't smell a scent, anything, and she's like updating him on stuff, and that's all I'm up to. I'm now on page 130, so not much since I last updated you guys. Like I just went and made a hot drink. I made a gigantic mug of tea because I need the caffeine to keep it going, and I got some toast, so I'm ready to read some more. And like I said, I'm going to try and read as much as I can before I fall asleep. So those are my reading updates anyways, and yeah, I'm so excited. I love this book. Like I've been squealing so much every time something cool happens, and I can't help it because I just love this book and it makes me so emotional. Yes, I'm going to continue reading, and then I will probably update you guys later. It's getting very, very late now. It is now 20 to 12, so yeah, it's going to be midnight soon, and obviously people are going to be sleeping, so we'll see how this goes. But I'm going to try and read some more now anyways, and try to update you guys in a little bit. Okay, so today is Tuesday and it is the release day for A Court of Silver Flames, and I'm so excited. So I'm going to try to finish this before my copy arrives, because I've got 3 copies that are arriving today, so anywhere between like 9 and 1. So it's currently 9:30, so I want to try and maybe finish this before it arrives, but I doubt I will, but I'm still going to try. So last night I got up to page 400, so I'm a little over halfway now. Still have like 300 pages to go, so we'll see if I can read that before it comes. But yeah, a lot has happened. So Feyre and Lucien are now at the Night Court, and we now know that Nesta is like something other. Like the bone carver said she's like a death god or something, so we've learnt that. And Nesta said like that she took something from the cauldron, and we don't exactly know what yet, and we don't exactly know what her abilities are, but we know that Nesta and Amren have been working together to try and like figure out how she can repair like walls and then take them down, things like that, so she can try and repair the wall between the fairy lands and the human lands. So that's been happening. The bone carver said about Nesta, what if I tell you what the rock and darkness and sea, how they shuddered in fear on the island across the sea, how they trembled when she emerged, when she took something precious, she ripped it out with her teeth. So yeah, we have that, which is like really, really cool, that Nesta's a death god, and it would make sense because we all know what Nesta's personality is like. If she's going to be anything, it's going to be a death god. We also got a bit of backstory about the bone carver and his 2 siblings. So the weaver's his sister, and he also had a brother, and he talks about them. So we've got a little bit more history as well into Prythian and what Prythian was before the Fae took it over. Like there's another part where Amren talks about like the old gods and what was there before the High Fae and things like that, and it's so interesting to kind of get this like kind of backstory to Prythian as well. And I hope that one day Sarah J Maas maybe gives us something set before all of this, a bit more insight into Prythian, like back in the day. Like I'd love to read that. I'd love to read more about Amren and just the world in general. Like I think that would be so fun. But yeah, and then we also, another thing about Nesta as well, it said, at one point it says her eyes remained the same blue-grey as my own, and yet molten ore was all I could think of. Quicksilver set aflame. Quicksilver flame, silver flame. That's all I'm saying. But there's a lot going on with Nesta that we don't know, and even like at one point Feyre says, I think the power is death made flesh, or whatever power the cauldron holds over such things. That's why the carver heard about her. So yeah, there's a lot to be revealed about Nesta here, which is making me even more excited for A Court of Silver Flames to see like what Sarah J Maas does with Nesta. And then we also now have an alliance between Care in the Human City and also Eris in the Autumn Court. And I think there's more to be revealed about Eris, because He's kind of explaining how like he was the one who helped Lucien when his brother's like trying to kill him, and he refused to be there when Lucien's lover was killed in front of him. So there's more than meets the eye. I feel like he's also like posing as a villain when he isn't. I don't really remember much of what goes on with his character in this book, so I'm intrigued to see what else is gonna happen. We also hear a bit more about Amren's backstory, how she got out of the prison and like what exactly she is, and it doesn't specify exactly what she is, just that she is from another world and she is like a horrific monster. And she says she was a messenger, a soldier, assassin for a wrathful god who ruled a young world. That's all we hear. I would love a book all about that, like give me that. Then we also have stuff going on with Elaine. So Elaine is literally just like a shell of a person, like she's just not there and like totally hollow, like totally like just devastated really. She's like seeing things and saying weird stuff. So she keeps saying stuff like the ravens are coming, and she says at one point, I saw young hands wither with age, I saw a box of black stone, I saw a feather of fire land on snow and melt it. So she's saying these things and everyone's like, what the hell is she talking about? Doesn't think anything of it. And then one day Nesta and Feyre go to the libraries in the Court of Dreams, and then these two high-bred like soldiers appear in there. Somehow have got through the defences, got in there, and they're like, we're taking Nesta, and they've come for Nesta to take her back, saying like the King of Highburn wants you back, you took some from the cauldron, you need to return it, because obviously now the cauldron's not working as it should be since Nesta like made it give something to her. So the King of Highburn really wants to get hold of Nesta, and they blew like Faebane in Nesta and Feyre's faces, so their powers are like nullified, and Feyre's doing her best to try and like fight them. She says like, you know, to Nesta like run, and Nesta runs, and Feyre thinks to run down to the very bottom of the library where Cassian like saw this monster that lives down there that no one saw, and it's apparently absolutely horrific, and no one goes down there. So Feyre thinks that's her only option, so she runs down and the ravens are chasing her, little do they know. And when Feyre gets down there, she feels it, like this thing, she can't see it because it's so dark, but she feels it, and this thing whispers in her ear, you are the High Lady, and she's like, yes. And she's like, please help me, and all of this, and those two ravens are like coming for her. The thing attacks the ravens and destroys them before Cassian then gets there and comes and rescues Feyre and Nesta, and Rhys comes and finishes off the raven, and then they all go back to the house. Elaine's talking about stuff again and just chatting like what they think is rubbish, and then they're like, hang on a minute, ravens, those two people said they were the ravens, and everything starts to click, and they realise that Elaine is actually a seer, and they don't exactly know why, but she's been seeing this woman, which is the queen from ACOWAR. All the other queens claimed was ill, but basically they sold her off to some like kind of sorcerer, and he's got her trapped, and I think she's some kind of like shapeshifter or something. Like in the day it says that she's like a bird of burning feathers, and by night she's human again, and apparently there's like loads of other girls like her. So Lucien decides he'll be the one to go and try and find her and rescue her and bring her and this army of other people like her that they think will help them in the war. So we've got that going on. There's a lot of stuff happening here. Like I've tabbed so much stuff, but like when it comes to talking about it, I can't think what I wanted to talk about at all. Now we're up to the scene where we have all of the High Lords joining together for a meeting to see if they're going to ally or not, and Feyre has this crown on her head, she's dressed as High Lady, and they're about to have this meeting, and that's pretty much where I'm up to. So yeah, I'm loving kind of all the history we're learning, the other like characters in the sense of like these people from Highburn that we're meeting, and obviously the monsters we're meeting. We're finding out more backstory about Amren and other characters, enjoying hearing like all the history and the backstory to things, and kind of seeing like what's going on with Elaine and Nesta and them all working together, and you know, things are really starting to pick up. The war is fast approaching, and I forgot how much I love this. So yeah, I'm going to try to read as much of it as I can now. Okay, so this just arrived in the post. I'm very excited, like so excited. I do plan to start this today, but I'm still rereading ACOWAR. I have like 200 pages left to read, and then I'm gonna start this, and I'm so excited. Like I can't cope, like I'm just so like, oh. Okay, so today it is pancake day, so before I do any more reading, me and Jamie are gonna make some pancakes with this really quick pancake mix because I haven't ate yet, and I need energy to get through the next 200 pages of ACOWAR. So I'm gonna make some pancakes. haven't updated you guys in quite some time. So I haven't finished this yet. So it's 2 p.m. so I did have a little bit of a break for a while. I took some photos of a core of silver flames. So yeah, I had a little break, but I've been doing some more reading. So I'm now on page 592, so I only have this much left to read. I have a little over 100 pages left, and then I will have finished this, and I pretty much will have read this in less than 24 hours, which is amazing, like, for me. I'm really enjoying this. It's just so good. I don't remember where I was when I last updated you guys, so I know there's going to be a lot of stuff that I should really be mentioning that I'm not going to be, but these vlogs didn't really go as planned, and like I said, I'm rushing to finish this, so yeah, I'm trying my best. So hopefully you don't hate this vlog too much. It definitely could be better. I could have given a lot better updates and whatnot, but it is what it is. I really just want to finish this so I can move on to the next one, so that's what we're doing. I've tabbed a few different like scenes at the top here that I want to talk about, so there is a few, so this might take a little bit of a while. Right, first off, let's just talk about how much of a Tamlin is at the High Lord's meeting. The way he's just like twisting everything and trying to spin a narrative, and he's just a jealous little puppy having a tantrum. I hate him. I don't hate puppies, but I hate Tamlin. I don't know why I called him a puppy. You know what I mean? I just hate him like so much. He makes me so angry, especially in that meeting. I just wanted Freya to punch his head in so bad. But anyways, the bit I did love the most, and that was when she basically made the High Lord of the Autumn Court absolutely poop his pants. I think his name is it Baron? Yeah, Lord Baron. So he's like, I think he calls her like a slut or something, or a whore, I don't know, or if he's talking about someone else, I can't remember. And then Feyre just loses it, and she's like blasting him with flame, and he's trying to fight back, and she's like more powerful, and then she has him like a big bubble of water and stuff, and then she's firing her light at him, and just like all her powers like converging on him, and he's pooing his pants. And then obviously Rhysand's like, Feyre, stop, like trying to calm her down, and she's just like completely in the zone. High Lord's like, oh my god, and now they've all found out she has remnants of all their powers. That happened. That was really cool. They all decided on like an alliance and whatnot. The lighting's going weird, I'm sorry. And then we have a jaw-dropping moment where Feyre figures out that Helion is actually Lucien's father, because he had an affair with the Lady of the Autumn Court for a few years before Under the Mountain happened, and that explains why Lucien's brothers hate him while his father does, why he's kind of shunned. Lucien doesn't know this, and Helion doesn't either, so it's like a little bit of a secret. I'm intrigued to see how that goes. Lucien's still off trying to find that queen, but yeah, that was just like another thing that I just really think is so cool. Like, Sarah J Maas just weaves so many, I don't know why I said it like that, but she just weaves like so many different like little things into her stories that just make it so much more intricate and just so much more amazing. And I just, oh, I love her writing so much. And then we have Feyre doing one of the most smartest things she's done in this entire book, which is making another bargain with Bryaxis, which is that creature that lives in like the bottom of the library. So she goes down and she says like, what do you want in return for like fighting with us on the battlefield? He's basically like their secret weapon. He strikes a deal, and Amren's going to break the water to get it out when the time comes, and I just love that so much. Like, yes, like the Night Court needs to be like taking advantage of all these monsters, and like if I was them, I'd be like recruiting some other monsters out of the prison. And I just love this like Bryaxis thing, because it doesn't want anything but to have a nice little window to look out at the night sky, and I just think that's so cute. And I know it's a monster that like kills people, but I love it. I just think it's cute. I can't quite picture in my head exactly what it looks like, so I definitely need to check out some fan art if there is some. I also really like at the moment how we're seeing more and more to Nesta. I don't hate her as much as I did now. Like, now I'm starting to warm up to her by this book, because I do think she's just an unnecessarily selfish, not nice person. Like, there's being morally grey, and then there's just being awful, and for the most part she has been awful, but we are starting to like see more to her, and we're also learning she is struggling. Like, she does have a lot of trauma. Like, she says at one point, I can't get into a bathtub anymore, I have to use buckets, after she went into the cauldron. And obviously we don't know exactly what her experience was within the cauldron, we just know she took something else out and like kind of fought. So yeah, I'm starting to like Nesta's character a lot more. Like, she's gone from being adamant that she's not getting involved, she's not doing anything, like being selfish, to now like helping Feyre and the inner circle and trying to help people and being like voicing her opinions and things like that. Like, I love how her character is growing like so much. And I'm also obviously loving this weird little thing going on between her and Cassian. Like, I can't remember, like I just don't know if they're mates. I don't think they ever are mates. Like, as far as I know in these books, I'm pretty sure there's no like mating bond happens, but I just love like what's going on between them because it's so weird. And like I love how we see Nesta, who's this like really bitter, like harsh person, being like kind of like soft and stuff towards Cassian. Like I love it so much. And like when Cassian was injured and she wraps his arm with a bandage and like she's looking after him and she's like always asking if he's okay, where he is after the battles and stuff, and like just like this thing kind of more blossoming between them, and she's becoming a lot softer and just like a little bit, I don't know, like she's peeling back her layers, she's become more vulnerable, and I really love that so much, which is making me more excited to read A Court of Silver Flames, because I'm really intrigued to see how Nesta's gonna turn out, what's gonna happen. And then we've had like another big thing revealed. So Jorian has revealed that he's actually been playing the King of Highburn the whole time, and he's on their side, like he's like a spy, and he's actually now revealed this to the Inner Circle and Feyre and Rhysand and everyone, and he's like now working with them, but Highburn has no idea. I love that there's so many characters in here who play the villain but aren't, and that's one thing I love about Sarah J Maas's characters, is that she writes them in such a way that you never know, at any moment they could tend to be the opposite as to what they actually are appearing to be. And I love that. I think it's so clever, and it just makes for really good surprises and plot, in my opinion. Oh, and then, which this totally surprised me, and I really did forget this happened, and it's, again, it's like that whole thing of Sarah J Maas playing characters where you don't actually know where their allegiance lies, but we don't really know exactly, like, are they a villain, are they not a villain? Like, it's not exactly quite clear. And I forgot with Tamlin that there is an element of redemption to all of this. So when Feyre goes into Highburn's war camp to rescue Elaine after she's been kidnapped by the Cauldron, goes in, she meets Jorian, and Jorian helps like to get her out and save this one of the children of the Blessed as well. And they're like running her and Asriel with like Elaine and this kid, and they're running to the cliff to try and like winnow out and like, you know, leave. And there's like these big hound things running after them trying to kill them, and Asher is flying everywhere, and then Tamlin just comes and absolutely like starts destroying them all and like helping them. And then at the end, like Feyre needs to like fly with her wings off the cliff, and Tamlin sends like a massive gust of wind to help her move off. And then like they manage to get through the shield, and then we see Tamlin jump through as well and winnow somewhere. Feyre later says, I had no doubt Tamlin hadn't gone back to Highburn's army after the meeting to betray us, but to play spy. And again, Sarah J Maas just doing it again. I forgot that happened and I did not expect it. And it does help to redeem Tamlin's character. Like, it proves that he's not a total, he's still a but not a total. And I just love it, and I just, yeah, it's just, she's so clever with these characters, Sarah J Maas. Like, so many of them turn out to not be villains, and so many who you don't think are villains turn out to be villains, and you can never guess which ones, and I love that. I love these books because you just keep peeling back layer after layer about characters, and I just love it so much. You're not just throwing all the information at once, you have to read and slowly piece it together, slowly find out things, and I just really enjoy it. That is pretty much like all the main things I wanted to talk about and update you guys on. Again, I know this vlog is terrible, but I need to finish this book ASAP, so that's why. So I am gonna go and try to finish the last 100 pages or so. I don't know whether to read A Court of Frost and Starlight next, or move straight on to A Court of Silver Flames. I think I will read this before I move on to A Court of Silver Flames, so I might actually read both of these today. I don't know. This will be obviously in a separate little vlog. Yes, I'm gonna go and finish reading this, and then I'll probably update you guys on when I actually finish the book and tell you my thoughts. And I'm so excited. Like, we're getting to the really tense part now where the all-out battle's about to happen. Ugh, it's intense. I'm gonna finish this book, so I will update you guys later, and I'm sorry about the lighting. I don't know what's going on. So I finished it. I love this book so much. I forgot how amazing this book is. Like, I truly did forget. Like, I know it's amazing because I love this series, but like, oh, this just takes you on such a ride. So many different things happen in here. Like, thinking back to certain seasons here, I still can't believe this all happens in one book. The last 50 pages, I was crying my eyes out, like, so much, because the emotions were just overwhelming me. Like, I love these characters so much, and like, I'm so attached to them, and like, I was just getting so upset for them, happy for them, like feeling grief, just everything that they felt, I felt. And my heart at one point, like when the battle starts, like the final battle. Like, it's so epic. Like, it's such an epic scene. Like, the way it's written, it's so intense and graphic, and my heart was literally like pounding. Like, I was getting so anxious and like upset, and my heart was literally hammering on my chest, because that's how intense this is, and it's just so well written, just so amazing. Like, I honestly love this so much. I can't cope. I still feel like crying now, because I tried to like not cry too much because I was reading this downstairs and I didn't want all my family looking at me like I was really weird. Yeah, I was really crying. I did have a few specific scenes to talk about before I wrap this up, and then I can move on to A Court of Frost and Starlight before I start A Court of Silver Flames. My favourite moment, like, this made me cry because I was just like, yes, like, it made me so happy, and I forgot how it happened. I'll read it out. So it says, Hybern's shield came crashing down, my magic snapped from me, cleaving through the world, revealing the glamour I'd had in place for hours. Before our front line, a cloud of darkness appeared, whirling on itself. Mother above, as Azrael breathed, right as a male figure appeared beside the swirling ebony smoke. Both armies seemed to pause with surprise. You retrieved the Ouroboros, Rhys whispered. For standing before Hybern were the bone carver and the living nest of shadows that was Bryaxis, and freed in a fey body by myself last night, both bound to obey by the simple bargain now inked on my spine. And then, just after that, Sarah says, here's to a long happy mating, Rhys. And he says, seems like you beat me to it. And she says, to what? And with a wink, Rhys pointed towards Bryaxis and the carver. Another figure appeared. The carver stumbled back a step, and I knew from the slim female figure, the dark flowing hair, the once again beautiful face, I knew who she was. The Striga, the weaver. And then at the end of the chapter, Rhys says, here's to family reunions. Then the weaver, the carver, and Bryaxis unleashed themselves upon Hybern. And I just love that so much. Like, it's just such a good moment, and like, I just love how it plays out, and it just made me so happy, and I cried, and I just love it. Like, I just, oh, the real bit that got me, the real tearjerker, was when Miriam and Dracon come and like help on, and there's like other ships there as well, and Dracon comes over and he was like, most of those boats came for you, and Nesta's like, what? And Dracon points to the ships and he was like, we met them up on our way here. I can't even begin to explain the convoluted story they told me. They're led by a queen named Vassa, who was apparently found by Lucian, Feyre says, and Dracon's like, who? In the middle of the eye, no, he met up with them later on, told them where to go. And then Nesta's like, who found Vassa then? Dracon's like, he calls himself the Prince of Merchants. Apparently he discovered the human queens were traitors months ago, and has been gathering an independent human army to face Hybern ever since. He managed to find Queen Vassa, and together they rallied his army. He told me that he's got 3 daughters who live here, and that he failed them for many years, but he would not fail them this time. He named his 3 personal ships after them. Feyre, the Elaine, the Nesta. Then it says, my father, our father at the helm. Oh, it's making me tear now. I can't with that. Like, it's just so emotional. Like, it just, I love how in this book Sarah J Maas manages to redeem Nesta, Elaine, her father, and Tamlin, and Lucian. Like, I just love the way she does that. I'm so happy that she did, because at the start I hate them, and now I'm just like, oh, that scene made me so emotional. Like, I literally cried so much, and yeah, I just love that so much. And then we have the most epic moment of all, where Elaine shoves the truth teller blade that Azrael gave to her, that he's never ever let anyone touch before. So I'm curious as to what's going to happen between Azrael and Elaine in future books for this series, because something's going on there. They're obviously not mates, but yeah, there's something going on. But I love how like Elaine just appears and she's like, don't touch my sister, as like the King of Hybern's about to kill Nesta, who's like trying to shield Cassian, who's injured, and she just stabs him through the neck, and then Nesta gets the knife and just like takes his head off. So epic, I love it. Then we have like literally the most heartbreaking moment where Feyre tries to put the cauldron back together because the cauldron broke. Amren was obviously unleashed and like unbound by Feyre, and she literally like just terrorized Hybern's forces, wiped them off the face of the earth, and then she just disappears, and like she sacrificed herself to save everyone, and it was just so emotional and so sad, and I cried my eyes out. Then Feyre's like, oh god, we've got to put the cauldron back together, like, you know, it's all falling apart, and like all this oozy stuff was coming out in like a void, so she needs to try and put it back together. And because she's like been unmade and remade, she has the ability to do it, so she just doesn't have enough power. So Rhys is like, we'll share our power, we'll do it together, but little does Feyre know that that's going to drain like the life force out of Rhys as well as all his power, and he knows this. And as they're both like putting it back together again, and Feyre's saying the spell and she's leaning into him, he keeps saying through the bond over and over again to her, like, I love you, and like she doesn't know he's saying it like because he's about to die. She realizes once it's back together that he's like not breathing, and obviously that's heartbreaking because I love him and it's just so horrible. Luckily like all the High Lords come and like bring him back, but then not only do we get that nice little happy ending of Rhys coming back, but he pulls Amren back with him, and it made me laugh so much where he says, he pointed with the healed hand toward the cauldron, someone fish our dear Amren before she catches a cold. And I laughed my head off so much and I cried, and I love it. Like I love it. But yeah, these are like the main things I want to talk about. I know I haven't talked about stuff as good as I should have. I haven't really updated you guys and stuff, and this is all like mumble jumbled, but yeah, you all know I was in a rush to try and finish this book today. I read it in less than 24 hours, so it was never going to be a proper good reading vlog of me properly talking about stuff in depth, but nonetheless I'm so glad that I read this. I still hope that you guys did enjoy this anyways. It's been a fun reading experience, a very emotional one, and I just love this series so much. There's not a single book series makes me feel the way this series does. Like, I honestly do absolutely adore and these characters. I know a lot of people like to look down on Sarah J Maas books, but I don't care. I love them. I love the characters. I have a strong emotional attachment to these books, and I just, yeah, I love them so much. Like, I literally adore them. I'm very excited to read Nessian's novel, but before I do that I am going to be starting A Court of Frost and Starlight and doing a mini reading vlog for this because it's not very long. It's only like just over 200 pages. But yeah, like I said, I hope that you guys did still enjoy this. It's such a good, like, I know it's not the last book necessarily in the series, but it kind of concludes Feyre's journey, and I think it's just an amazing end. Not necessarily an end, but you know what I mean, to that specific journey with the War of Highburn. I just think that's such a well done book. Like, quite often with series and trilogies, the last book can sometimes be a bit not as good as the others, but I just feel like that book was just still absolutely amazing. Like, it's so incredible, so well written. I love everything about it, and yeah, I just love this series so much. But I'm so excited to continue on and read the new book. But I do hope that you guys still enjoyed this reading vlog anyways. Like I said, I do apologise, it's not great. I was trying to read it quick, so it is what it is. If you have read this book yourself, which I assume you will have if you're watching this, please let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. If you've got any theories or you've picked up on anything that happens in here you think might be linked to Court of Silver Flames, or just stuff I might not have picked up on, or you think's like worth mentioning, let me know in the comments. Let's chat about this book. I love chatting about these books because, like I said, they are my fave. If you did enjoy this video, please do give it a big thumbs up and subscribe if you'd like to. I make bookish videos twice a week and host weekly reading sprints, so it'd be really nice to have you join me on my little corner of the internet. And I will have all of my social media linked down below, which includes my Goodreads, my Bookstagram and my Twitter, along with my Amazon wishlist and some invaluable resources. I do hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you're all safe and well, and I will see you in the next reading vlog for A Court of Frost and Starlight and A Court of Silver Flames, which will also have a review and be spoiler free. Bye!